money. Can I get a why?
Well, I can only speak.
What's your gut?
Well, look, I'm hoping like all get out that Mike win. I hold a seat in Congress that Mike used to have before Bill Clinton appointed him Secretary of Agriculture. I have a Democratic district. He will get one heck of a vote out of my district. But there are 3 other districts in the state that he needs to get a reasonable percentage of votes also. But you got to work it.
President Trump's former advisor Steve Bannon is now facing federal fraud charges in an alleged scam involving a fundraising campaign for the U.S.-Mexico border wall. Camila Burnell has the latest.
President Trump's former campaign advisor Steve Bannon leaving a courthouse after posting bond for federal fraud charges. Bannon and 3 others were indicted for allegedly using hundreds of thousands of dollars donated to an online fundraising campaign called We Built the Wall for their own personal expenses, including cosmetic surgery, a golf cart, and payments for a boat. In his first court appearance, he pleaded not guilty.
Well, I feel very badly. I haven't been dealing with him for a long period of time.
President Trump says he knew nothing about the border wall fundraising project and did not know the people involved with it, even though some of his key allies are on its board.
I think I let my opinion be very strongly stated at the time. I didn't like it. It was showboating and maybe looking for funds, but you'll have to see what happens. I think it's a very sad thing.
President Trump's 2020 opponents in the Biden-Harris campaign weighing in and highlighting Bannon's ties to the president.
Is it really any surprise that yet another one of the grifters he surrounded himself with and placed in the highest levels of government was just indicted? Sadly, it is not.
Bannon will have supervision and travel restrictions. The terms of his bond are due next month.
The Justice Department is asking the U.S. Supreme Court to allow President Trump to block his critics on Twitter. 2 lower courts ruled that him blocking critics violates the First Amendment because parts of the account serve as a public forum. The matter came before the nation's highest court Thursday. Trump has taken an opposing view on Twitter censorship in the past when he thought the platform was censoring him. The Washington NFL team is gearing up for another season, this time in the middle of a pandemic. But that's not the only challenge they faced as of late. As the organization rebrands its identity, it has hired a new team president, and he just so happens to be making history. BNC's Ashley Liotis tells us more.
Jason Wright used to play football. Now he's a businessman. So when the chance arose for his 2 worlds to collide, it was a match made in football heaven.
I'm attracted to challenges that have broad-based impact that has multiple levels and goes beyond the 4 walls of the corporation. And so this was, incredibly exciting for me.
Jason Wright made history this week, becoming the first Black president of an NFL team, a role he doesn't take lightly.
The first is not because of me, but because of all the people that came before that put cracks in the proverbial glass ceiling. Secondarily, I think it's important because 70% of the players on the field are Black, and it's important to demonstrate for my fellow former players and to broader society that Black talent is welcome and effective beyond the lines of the field.
Wright joined the organization at a challenging time. Not only is the Washington football team dealing with a global pandemic, the group is in the midst of rebranding its identity, starting with a new name and shifting its culture after serious allegations of sexual harassment.
I was really confident in taking this role because of the shared values with Dan and Tanya Snyder, not just in word, but in deed. They brought in an independent investigator to look into these allegations. It's a big step. It's letting somebody in your house, looking under the beds and overturning the carpets and seeing the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's going to give us a very real and raw starting point. And I don't know where that starting point is until I join and I can get underneath that data. But I know where we're going to go. We're going to move to a culture where people are empowered to lift their voice when they see leadership that doesn't align with our values.
Getting to this point came with its fair share of obstacles, but with each new chapter, a character-building moment. Most recently, playing in the NFL, where Wright spent 7 years bouncing from team to team. It was that time of uncertainty where he became a better leader.
For me, it was great to learn how to be resourceful, to learn how to live humbly, but also how to reestablish my confidence in the face of a setback.
But perhaps the most influential and character-building mentor he's had is Dad, who he calls his rock.
My dad was my coach. My fondest memories are sort of being outside in the SoCal heat, training with my dad, running up and down hills. And my dad did something, really interesting with our football team. He sort of drove around the area, especially in communities of color or communities that were under-resourced, and found, really exceptional kids that might not have had all the support structure. Men now in life. I think back to my upbringing. My dad was a civil rights activist prior to being a business owner. Like, there's just something in him that...
As for that new team name, I tried to get it out of him to no avail. Although he did say it will set the foundation for the new identity of this Washington football team. Reporting in New York City for the Black News Channel, I'm Ashley Leotis.
Los Angeles. We'll talk with the organizers of the event and show you how they're helping families get ready for the new school year. You're watching Black News Channel, Truth Illuminated.
Closed captioning brought to you by Guardian Legal. If you don't, you pay nothing.
The FDA requested manufacturers to pull Zantac and products containing ranitidine off the market. Call now for a free consultation. You might be entitled to financial compensation.
Attention, welcome to Dragon Training.
I'm in uncharted waters here, boy.
You gonna let her walk away?
I'm going after her.
Our chefs turn up the heat on the grill iron.
All right, guys, are you ready?
You're working on the couch.
Diet Coke?
Who are you, my mom?
You should be so lucky. Because you know what moms do? Maybe we should start with the whole giving you life thing. No? What about her ability to send shockwaves through the neighborhood with a look, whip up a ridiculous handmade costume in her sleep, or win any argument in 4 words?
Because I said so.
You copied her jeans, her shoes, and her music. Everything you're trying to do, she's already done it, did it better, and she did it with a Diet Coke in her hand. So, drink what your mama gave you.
Facing depression or anxiety is tough, but getting help shouldn't be. Here's how simple it can be. Visit lemonadehealth.com, and in less than 10 minutes, you have a video visit with me or another doctor. If needed, we'll write a prescription.
That comes to me. I process those FDA-approved medications quickly and send them directly to your home.
Once you receive them, we'll have a call to make sure you're doing okay.
And if you have any questions throughout, we're here to take your call. Visit lemonadehealth.com and let us help you today.
Today, you will learn to fight dragons. Let's get started.
I guess it's just you and me, huh?
Nope, just you.
Has anyone met a dragon?
No one's ever lived to tell the tale.
We don't have to kill them. Either we finish them or they'll finish us.
What are you gonna do?
Something crazy.
I'm in. Me too. Sign me up.
I love this plan.
Go.
Staying with us here on BNC 24/7. Hundreds of people facing financial struggles during the COVID-19 pandemic lined up for food giveaways in Inglewood, California. Anita Bennett reports the drive-through event was held at the new SoFi Stadium.
When you pull all the way up, just pop your trunk and they'll put the box in there for you. Just don't get your vehicle. Okay. Thank you.
Car after car drove into a parking lot Wednesday at the newly built SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, for a meal giveaway to help those in need.
I'm a single mom,
and I only work 3 days out of the whole, so it's a whole week. So it's very, very, I'm thankful for it.
Each car was given a box filled with fresh fruits and vegetables, courtesy of the LA Bowl, an upcoming NCAA Division I bowl game.
Here at the LA Bowl, we're a new bowl, new here to the community, and we've been focusing on several of these types of events throughout not only Inglewood, but also the Los Angeles community, and we've received an overwhelming amount of positive feedback.
A company called Melissa's Produce also donated to the giveaway. Families with children received backpacks filled with school supplies.
We know that we've been facing different challenges right now when it comes to the pandemic and different, things that have been happening recently, but having people supporting us and giving us this type of supplements to, just go through our lives, it really means a lot.
Inglewood Mayor James T. Butts says the city has been especially hard hit by the COVID-19
partnership, and it's just the start of great things to come.
While many residents are excited about the stadium, others regularly express concerns on social media about gentrification, rising rents, and they've criticized the city for offering the site's developers big tax breaks instead of truly helping those in need.
SoFi cost $1 billion to construct and is described as the most expensive sports stadium ever built. It's scheduled to officially open next month, but likely without fans in the stadium, due to the pandemic. Next, Google Doodle is holding a contest for students, hoping the public will help them narrow down 5 artists to become finalists in the competition. We got a chance to speak with one of the artists, and stay tuned, you don't want to miss it.
Keto is simple. By removing carbs, your body is forced to burn fat.
Look, we're twinsies.
At CVS, flu shots can be free, safe, and quick, so the whole family can get them.
Now we're twinsies.
Get $5 off 20 with each free flu shot at CVS.
DSW is your sneaker headquarters for the whole family. Get the coolest stuff from your favorite brands like Nike, Adidas, Converse, and Vans. Women's, men's, and kids all in one place. See you soon at DSW.
In 1850, a promise was made to back you during times of plenty and during times like this. That promise during times of plenty. At American Express and whatever comes next. Visit
nothing short than a moral abomination that in the wealthiest nation in the world, we have to be faced with and see so many struggling so profoundly with economic injustice every day. As our dear friend and great leader Bishop Barber has noted, before the pandemic began, there were over 140 million, mind you, 140 million poor and low wealth people struggling just to survive, mind you, not thrive, just to survive. For example, you look at how, let me just read this to you real quick. Poverty affects millions of Americans of all races, ethnicities, abilities, status, and genders. But it disproportionately affects families and communities that are already marginalized. Just 8.7% of whites are poor compared with 21.2% of Black Americans and 18.3% of Latinx Americans. This means that simply by virtue of being born a person of color, one is more than twice as likely to experience poverty in the United States as their white counterparts. And we want everyone lifted out of poverty. But when you look at the disproportionate numbers of people of color, and when you look at the fact that we have not made any gains, this is just something we have to see as a reflection, once again, of systemic racism that we must tackle at the same time that we leave. It's really beyond cruel. And I think right now we see them for who they are. Not only do we need the big relief bill, the HEROES bill that we passed several months ago, we also need massive public investment to take systemic racism and economic inequalities We need to dismantle and disrupt those policies and those systems that create the inequalities. We've got to do that, and thank God for our young people in the streets who are pushing and insisting that we do that. We need a living wage. And yes, I support Medicare for all. We need an end to food insecurity. Look at the lines of people who have never lived below the poverty line. Now middle income people are waiting in line just for a box of food in America. We need an expansion of Social Security. We've got to eliminate the wealth gap among communities of color and policies that treat housing as a basic human right.
And here is
personally and professionally. He's confronted devastating loss, finding purpose in the darkness and inspiring others along the way to do so as well. And I can speak from experience because when my husband unexpectedly passed away, he often said, the American people have never, ever let us down, and they never will. We are in difficult, dark times, but with Joe Biden leading us, we will conquer any challenge. When I gave my remarks the other day, I started off by saying in a history class in the future, children will be learning about this moment that we're in today, and that they'll be learning about our pain and our grief and our worry, but that they will also be learning about a man named Joe Biden, who helped restore dignity and decency to our government and integrity to our democracy. And they'll learn about how we as individuals, as a collective, as a united party and people conquered a pandemic, stood up against racial injustice, and also worked to build our economy back better. And they'll learn about his leadership and how he gave that young generation that was focused on last night a fighting chance.
So tell me, how did this process all start? I mean, how long has it been?
I first applied at the beginning of the year. I submitted my doodle, I think, March. And then Corona happened, so all the Google dates got pushed for when the finalists were supposed to be announced. But just last week, Google had delivered a box to me saying that I had won Louisiana and that I was in the running for the big win, basically.
How did you feel when you found out that news?
Yeah, it still feels surreal. I mean, it doesn't feel real. Even when I get support on social media, even that doesn't really feel real.
Let's talk about the actual drawing. Tell me where your inspiration came from. I mean, how long did it take?
Planning always takes the longest. I feel like the whole month of March, I was Googling what kindness means and the different definitions. And most of the inspiration was me thinking about how people can be kind even when they don't have anything. So the free options of kindness and also the simplest form. So with the first G, there's a mother holding her child. And I think that's the most natural form of love. And that's when you're with your family, you're always kind to them in some way or another. And then with one of the O's, it's like a lady hugging a man and he's crying. And I think when you show love to people who don't seem like they love themselves, that's a really powerful form of kindness. And with the second G, it was a woman giving a heart to someone who seems angry at her. And I think that's the most important form of kindness. I think that's the most difficult to give out. But I think those people need kindness the most.
For you, I know that there's a possibility of a $30,000 scholarship. I mean, what are your plans if you were to get the award?
Right now, in terms of colleges, I'm looking at Loyola. I'm also looking at the Art Institute in Chicago. But if I win $30,000, and that, I feel like that opens me up to a whole lot more colleges that, are so out of my pay range. But if I place in my age range, then I become a national finalist, and from that side, the Google choose the national winner to win the $30,000.
How do you feel?
I feel overwhelmed, like a good kind of overwhelmed, but like I'm like a high school student. I'm trying to keep up with people DMing me.
To get the most out of your Audible app, start by
send my artwork to the people who want to see it. So yeah, I feel like I feel really busy this week. It's a busy week. Black people, I want to be that point of inspiration, and I know I have those points of inspiration in my life. And yeah, I would love to be like someone that like a Black kid could look up to and be like, oh, she won this thing, so I can definitely do it, you know?
Well, I'll tell you, she is going places, and she is very talented. I'm so glad I got the chance to speak to her. Today is the last day to vote, so if you can, go ahead and go on that Google Doodle link and be able to go ahead and vote for her under Louisiana.
I've always had a problem.
Still driving the old model, huh?
I've been looking, but
I just need someone to tell me what a good price is. Just use Auto Trader. It's the only one with Kelley Blue Book. It tells you if the price is good.
If you do one good thing, you can inspire another until good is being spread by everyone all over. So make a donation and make a difference. Then invite your friends to do the same. Download the InLieu app to spread goodness and donate on behalf of others to any nonprofit. InLieu.
Nice. This is the new Buick?
It could be the new Alexa.
That's a Buick.
It's an Alexa. Check it out. Alexa, turn on the outdoor lights.
Okay. That's cool, but I'm pretty sure it's a Buick.
Clearly an Alexa. Alexa, get directions to the 818 grill.
Getting directions. It's a Buick.
Alexa.
Buick.
First ever Buick Encore GX. Available with Alexa built in.
Nice Buick.
It's an Alexa.
If you do one good thing, you can inspire another until good is being spread by everyone all over. So make a donation and make a difference. Then invite your friends to do the same. Download the InLieu app to spread goodness and donate on behalf of others to any nonprofit. InLieu. If you do one good thing, you can inspire another until good is being spread by everyone all over. So make a donation and make a difference. Then invite your friends to do the same. Download the InLieu app to spread goodness and donate on behalf of others to any nonprofit. InLieu. There are a lot of things spreading these days. Fear, despair, something called aerosols. There's something better that we can spread even faster. Goodness. Goodness is contagious. If you do one good thing, you can inspire another until good is being spread by everyone all over. So make a donation and make a difference. Then invite your friends to do the same. Together, we can spread goodness everywhere. Isn't that great? Download the InLieu app to spread goodness and donate on behalf of others to any nonprofit. InLieu.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm Ashley Flette. This is BNC 24/7. In our top story this morning, Joe Biden accepts his party's nomination for president, culminating a week of convention that was unlike any other. Nadia Romero has the highlights.
The final night of the Democratic National Convention and the moment that Democrats have been waiting for Joe Biden to take the stage and officially accept his nomination for president. And it was a moment that Joe Biden has been looking forward to for some 50 years. His first time he thought about this was 1988. And then again in 2008, 2016, he was grief-stricken by the death of his son, Beau Biden. But this year, finally accomplishing that dream.
I accept this nomination for president of the United States of America.
All week, Democrats building up to this moment.
It's time for us, for we the people, to come together.
Joe Biden, the party's nominee for president, calling for a united front to defeat Donald Trump this November.
Our current president has failed in his most basic duty to the nation. He's failed to protect us. He's failed to protect America. And my fellow Americans, that is unforgivable.
His speech coming at the end of a 4-day virtual convention featuring the party's most popular figures making the pitch for Biden while offering a scathing rebuke of the current commander-in-chief.
Donald Trump hasn't grown into the job because he can't.
Donald Trump is the wrong president for our country.
Donald Trump's failure of leadership has cost lives and livelihoods. Democrats and Biden believing a Big Ten approach is the key to victory, calling on moderates and even Republicans to join the effort.
America isn't just a collection of clashing interests of red states or blue states. We're so much bigger than that.
Ticket telling Americans at home that now is the time for action.
This is our moment. This is our mission. May history be able to say that the end of this chapter of American darkness began here tonight, as love and hope and light join in the battle for the soul of the nation.
President Donald Trump spent the day near Joe Biden's hometown of Scranton, Pennsylvania, where he was born before his family moved here to Wilmington, Delaware, trolling Joe Biden and trying to take away the spotlight. And of course, he's taken to Twitter to talk about his disapproval of Joe Biden. But the night still belongs to Joseph R. Biden, officially accepting the nomination and beginning his campaign trail to November. In Wilmington, Delaware, I'm Nadia Romero.
A federal judge has ruled that state prosecutors in New York can have access to President Trump's accounting records for a criminal investigation. The decision increases the possibility that the tax records could be sent to a grand jury before the election. But just an hour after the ruling, President Trump appealed it. The president is trying to stop the subpoena from being enforced next. The case involves whether the president or the Trump Organization violated state laws in connection with hush money payments made to women alleging affairs with Trump. President Trump's former chief strategist Steve Bannon is pleading not guilty after being taken into custody for a massive fraud scheme. Federal prosecutors in New York indicted Bannon and 3 other people for allegedly defrauding donors of millions of dollars. Prosecutors say it was done through an online crowdfunding campaign known as We Build the Wall, which claimed to raise money to pay for the border wall with Mexico. Bannon was released on bail. Happening today, U.S. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy will testify before a Republican-led Senate committee. This will be DeJoy's first chance to publicly address accusations that changes implemented by him will be bad for mail-in voting. John Lawrence reports.
The man responsible for U.S. mail delivery thrust into the spotlight. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy is drawing bipartisan concern over changes put into place since his tenure began in June. He's since promised to pause changes until after the election.
The point about the machinery being out exposed to the elements is how difficult it will be to reverse what he's done. Even if there is some commitment confirmed in writing.
DeJoy's administration has removed letter sorters, ended overtime pay, and reduced postal operating hours in numerous states. An internal email obtained by CNN instructs workers not to reconnect any machines taken offline without approval.
Some of the damage has already been done and, caused some distrust in the American people to use the mail system.
Critics of DeJoy, an ally and supporter of President Trump, say his changes could hamper mail-in voting in November during a pandemic. The president has repeatedly made unfounded fraud claims about voting by mail, saying it's a Democratic attempt to prevent a second Trump term.
This is just a way they're trying to steal the election, and everybody knows it, because the only way they're going to win is by a rigged election.
Republican leaders say the post office remains vital.
We're not going to let it go under, and certainly we're not going to have anything that affects the fall election.
DeJoy is scheduled to appear before a Democratic-led House committee on Monday. Still ahead, the Justice Department will appeal a recent ruling in the Boston bomber case, why the administration is pushing to have the original sentence reinstated. You are watching Black News Channel, Truth Illuminated.
Closed captioning brought to you by Guardian Legal. If you don't win, you pay nothing.
The FDA requested manufacturers to pull Zantac and products containing ranitidine off the market. Call now for a free consultation. You might be entitled to financial compensation.
We believe Titans to be in prison forever. Now they're breaking free. What am I meant to do?
What are you waiting for?
Avoid the planet Earth at all costs.
You're talking about the end of every life on Earth?
Now! Set a course for Earth. Maximum warp.
You don't throw a whole life away just because he's banged up a little.
Kind of small, isn't he? Gonna look a lot smaller in a second.
Facing depression or anxiety is tough, but getting help shouldn't be. Here's how simple it can be. Visit lemonadehealth.com In less than 10 minutes, you have a video visit with me or another doctor. If needed, we'll write a prescription.
That comes to me. I process those FDA-approved medications quickly and send them directly to your home.
Once you receive them, we'll have a call to make sure you're doing okay.
And if you have any questions throughout, we're here to take your call. Visit lemonadehealth.com and let us help you today.
Take a drive from Westerly, Mystic, Colchester, Old Saybrook, or any other surrounding towns to Falvey's. It's the summer clearance event, and it's a great time to get your best deal, your best car buying experience at Falvey's. Go to falveys.com and follow 4 easy steps to choose your vehicle. Personalize your payment, value your trade, and apply for financing. It's as easy as that at Falvey's.
Falvey's, you're gonna love it.